Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the XForceGlobal channel. Thank you very much for joining me here today. Hope you're all having a fantastic week. Today we're back with another Ethereum analysis, and I'm here to make sure to update the price action from our prior video and see how we can go forward with the new updated Elliott wave counts. So right off the bat, we're working in the idea of a new impulsive structure here to complete some kind of motive wave or 5-wave move to the upside before we get another significant pullback, and then we'll see how the markets react from those levels. But for the time being, in the idea that we're working in an impulse, this is working on the idea that we have this wave 3, 4 completed, or wave 1, 2, which is a little bit less probable because we don't want to be creating too many nested structures. So I think that this is a wave 4 that is now being complete as a double zigzag idea. Now, in order for this double zigzag idea to be more evident, it's just based on the fact that we have a lot of distribution zones and a lot of overlaps in between. So what that means is, due to these ideas of creating of these distribution zones, these are deemed as the 3-wave moves that is giving us the overall look for this WXY. It doesn't have the best look, but still it is what it is, and we do have a possible wave 4 being complete, and that is just evident due to the fact that we had a 47% move off of the lows. That is giving us an impulsive nature to the move to the upside and is giving us more further confidence that we may be working for higher levels, breaking the possible previous regional high here, and then eventually trying to breach those new all-time highs and see how we can go forward from there. We'll have to determine how these medium time frame ideas play out. Now, for this idea, since we had a very extended wave 3, we're going to be, or it's a really nice looking wave 3 actually. I think it's possibly one of the most textbook ideas in terms of an extension. We're going to be looking for a new sideways wave 4. Now, again, since this wave 1, 2 was quite sharp in nature, we're looking for a sideways wave 4. And in terms of the sideways wave 4, we are going to be subdividing that into two ways of analyzing it, which is the first idea that we're working with the alternation idea, which is going to be that wave 1, since it was sharp, we're going to be looking for some kind of equilibrium state or a distribution zone being created as a sideways wave 4. So if wave 4 is sideways, wave 1 and 2 is assumed as a sharp correction. Vice versa, if you have a sideways wave 1, 2, you're going to be looking for a sharp wave 3, 4. Now, these alternations don't have to be completely in play, but it's just based on observations and expectations in terms of what patterns you can narrow down. Now, in terms of the mode of correction, we're going to be looking for a possible running idea or some kind of expanded idea, meaning that there are only two running ideas that we can be fitting in here. Since this wave B has created a new price extreme against this wave 3 over here, we're going to be assuming that this is going to be now a running triangle. Now, it's a bit too early to call this for a running triangle, but in terms of symmetry, this does give us the best look. It doesn't mean it have to be the main expectation. It's just giving us the overall narrative and expectation. Again, expectations are key here, and see how we can continue forward with each new data that is given. So what that means is, since we have an A, B, again, new price extreme for B, we're looking for a subwave C, D, E to complete off this equilibrium state for this wave 4, and then we're looking for a wave 5. Now, in terms of wave 5 targets, since wave 3 was quite extended, we're going to assume, based on the post-triangle thrust measurement, that this move here is going to be ending anywhere around these regions around 4.2 to 4.5K, and wave 5 is going to be also assumed to be equal in length for wave 1 as well, just based on Fibonacci. As you can see here, this wave 1 and wave 4 and 5 should be quite relatively similar in length if this triangle does play out, and based on this post-triangle thrust should give us a similar length in terms of how this wave 5 is going to be complete. Again, this is assumed because wave 3 was highly extended, and that extension is pretty confident in the fact that wave 5 is going to be shorter in length and not extend as well. So based on Fibonacci, we're going to be trying to creating the golden zone and golden Fibonacci zones ideas all coming into play, and now those are just expectations based on Fibonacci that wave 1 and wave 5 should be equal in length. So that idea of a running triangle is also possibly in play, but we do have a possible, again, new idea of a flat variation, which means that wave 4 could also be deemed as complete as a running flat idea. Now, I haven't zoomed in and haven't taken the time to count this, but looking like it looks like it's quite overlapping, so it doesn't seem like this wave 4 is going to be as a running variation. So that means we are only resorted to one possible last idea, which is the expanded flat idea that wave A is now complete, wave B is complete, which also creates a new price extreme, and then we'll create a wave C of some sort in the form of an expanded flat variation. And that idea is still going to be very, very nice looking in terms of symmetry, and that is the reason why we like extended wave 3s, because it gives us quite a lot of room in terms of not only invalidation where wave 4 can't enter the price territory of wave 1, it gives us a quite of strong outlook in terms of what variations you can be playing with. So we still have a lot of ways to kind of see how this corrective wave is going to be playing, even if it does move deeper and breaking the origin of wave A, and then we can be looking for that 5-way move. Now, to me personally, I do think that triangle is going to be a little bit better. Again, I don't like to assume triangles or even flats, but in terms of the pros and cons, flats usually have a better hit rate, but triangles give us a better symmetrical look. So it's just a matter of balancing out what your expectations are as a trader. But for me, I personally like this triangle idea, and if it does play out correctively in between, then we know that we're in a triangle. But if we do move continuously as an impulsive, and the markets are quite on the edge right now for Bitcoin especially. So if it does move down, we're going to be expecting some kind of C wave being played out, and that will be that expanded flat variation. And again, Ethereum has such a far better look than Bitcoin at the moment because of this impulsive move, and we have a lot of room for invalidation, that I think that this wave 4 is still in play with high probability for the time being, unless we do some kind of flash dump, which is kind of unlikely at this point. We'll just see. Again, we're expecting the same idea, and that's how it should be complete. Now, if in the case that we're not even working for some kind of sideways wave 4, and we're just completely ignoring the idea of alternation, again, alternations don't have to be playing out. But again, for this idea to also not be considered a sideways wave 4, we can alternatively say that this is a wave 4 as a sharp as well. Sharp, sharp, and then we're looking for a fifth wave that has either completed. Again, I haven't taken the time to count this, but again, wave 5 could be complete, and if we do correct deeper for a wave 2, we'll know at this point whether this wave 2 is in the making, because we are going to be only working in 2 variations at that point. If it does create a larger, deeper move, breaking this wave 4 or wave A of that expanded flat idea, that if this breaks now, we can just kind of assume, are we finishing the idea of a C wave move here? Are we going to be creating some bullish divergences? Is the bear is going to be exhausted at this point? If not, and it's just corrective, then we know that we're going to be working for a deeper wave 2, and this 1-2 idea is still extremely bullish, and we should be working for further upside once we do create a lot of exhaustion for that wave 2 to be complete. So that idea is also in the making, and then we also have the idea that if even sharp wave 4 is complete, we can be working an extremely bullish extension for wave 5, but again, that's just unlikely, like I said, based on Fibonacci. You want to be seeing a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if Bitcoin just miraculously does some kind of pump and Ethereum does it at the same time, and the dominance also goes down. So that will extend this wave 5 before we go for another significant correction for wave 2. So how does this idea fit into the larger time frames after this primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is completed? Let's say this ideal triangle did play out, and then we do kind of further up into new all-time highs. How would that fit? Well, the idea is going to be fitted onto this kind of idea in the notion we are working in a larger 1, 2, 1, 2 idea. Again, this idea has been fiddled around for quite a bit, but it does have its pros and cons again, but it's the only way that we're going to be fitting a possible move within the current data that we have on the medium time frames, is that we have a created nested 1, 2, 1, 2 idea as well. It's not the best idea. It's not the preferred idea that we had it, but it is what it is because of this move off of the lows that we had, and Ethereum just continued to pump with the markets. So we're also very close to the all-time highs. So what this means is that we have a 1, 2 here. We have another 1, 2 being created. Now, I don't like the idea that this is another 1, 2 idea being created. Now, if we do create another 1, 2, that'll be extremely bullish. And at that point, we don't want to be creating, 3 1, 2, 1, 2 ideas. Usually at that point, you're possibly working in something else. So, because they can literally extend forever, right? And that's kind of the drawback for these extensions. But for the time being, if this 1, 2, 1, 2 is playing, in my opinion, or my interpretation, is that this wave 3 of the primary degree is going to be concluding at some point during the year, meaning that we'll have a very long sideways or kind of whatever deeper correction based on this primary 4 of the larger degree, is that it should be correcting sometime during 2024. And in that case, the only way that we can be doing it, this move here, to me, is not the best looking idea, meaning that because we had a pretty strong distribution zone here, we originally thought this was an ABC, but now due to this strong impulse of the lows, is possible 1, 2, 3, sharp wave 4, and then a 5 in the making. Now, as we can combine the current medium time frame that I just showed you guys, is that if we're having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the primary degree, so if that primary degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays out, we're going to be working for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going into the primary 3. That is the way that we should be completing it for an ideal larger third wave of completion, and then looking for that larger sideways wave 4, or however you want to see it, and then a 5, and then a larger 4 wave correction, and then that'll complete the overall dynamic of this whole bull market. So that's the ideal way we should be looking at it. This move here, again, not the best look, depending on how you want this wave 1 to be, 1, 2 sideways, but since we're working with alternation, we're just assuming that this was a sharp correction as a WXY, this was a sideways correction as a 1, 2, both relative the same in size and time, is that we are going to be looking for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete, ideally for that wave 3. So that's kind of my interpretation of how we should be looking at Ethereum for not only the macro but also the medium time frames. Hopefully that was helpful. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not in my XForceGlobal Discord membership, please do feel free to contact me. Do not hesitate to contact me. The link is in the description below. And if you're not following me on X, formerly known as Twitter, please do follow me there as well at XForceGlobal. I do give more daily updates on there, since videos do take a lot of my time, but I do my best to update these as much as I can. So hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.